Hello and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday. This is a weekly show which covers all the news from Star Citizen from the week just past. I am your host Mac, so let's get on with it. This week, 3.3 goes live, patch 335 goes to PTU, plus we get the latest from the roadmap. So before we begin, I just want to break down the latest on 3.3 and all the other patches. 3.3 is now on live servers for everyone, as you probably know. However, myself and many others are experiencing a 15,006 issue, basically just not loading into the game. CRG do know about it and they are actively trying to fix it. In fact, this is recording Saturday evening, so it could be fixed on Sunday morning. 3.3.5 is in Evocati's hands, and from what I've heard on Reddit, it is one of the most bug-free environments. I'm sure there are places with bugs, though. For 3.4, much has been pushed back from 3.4 to 3.5, like Artcore and its moons, the female avatar, the flight model, and the 300 series. That is the latest rundown of the current state of the game. Every week I do a weekly roadmap update. I'll link that below so you can check out what is going on with each patch. Anyway, let's get on with the show. So on Calling All Devs, the first question is, will we get some form of maintenance mechanic to either slow or repair the wear to a component with the addition of the degradation system? And they say yes, a repair method is going to come with the repair tool or maybe swapping the sub-items. They currently do show the wear of components on the MFDs. It is the cogwheel that you see there. This shows a percentage of wear up to 100. 100 is death of that component, so 0 being perfect condition. They will, I think, show a time to it wearing out, but it won't be really that accurate because the more that you use something, or if you overclock it, it will degrade quicker. If you never use it, or if you use it barely, it will degrade slower, so that will always change, but they did say that they will show you a time to wearing out, which is cool, and I'm very much looking forward to the engineering mechanic and all the gameplay that involves. Next question is, with the Merlin rework in 3.5, will we see it docking? And they say it's not actually a rework of the Merlin, it's more just getting the cockpit more in line with the current templates. Docking, unfortunately, won't come along until it'll come with the Hull C. They need docking for the Hull C as it can't land, so all the cargo needs to have a way to come off the ship and be distributed. So the first stage of docking will be ship to station docking, and then the second stage will be ship to ship docking. Third question, is there a reason why ships cannot have stronger headlights for seeing asteroids and the ground before we run into them? Now they say there's no reason why they can't slap on a long narrow beam. They are looking to apply better lights for ships, and they will look into ways to make it look good and performance friendly. They can't just, they could put placeholders on, and currently headlights are about 100 to 200 meters in distance, but clearly this is not enough range, especially when you're traveling 200 meters a second. But they're hoping to get a whole balance pass in for 3.5, but for a long-term solution, it'll come a lot later down the line. So final question, are the plans to allow us to move from planet to planet or system to system while offline? Now, they have discussed this in the past, and the idea at the moment is currently no. They don't want players to bypass content. There will be things that happen to you going between A and B. They don't want players to just travel risk-free. There is not going to be an easy way to allow this kind of gameplay. They will look at it in the future, and if they feel there's a need for it, they will introduce it, but currently they don't think so. Anyway, that was Calling All Devs, guys. Let's move on. So on Around the Verse this week, they kicked off with the winner of the Mustang Beta commercial. I do highly suggest checking that out and all the other entries. I am still yet to do it with the rest of them though. After that, Chris Roberts and Sandy discussed the changes with 3.3, 3.3.5 and 3.4. I have covered the important information earlier in this video, but I've also created separate videos which goes into more depth about what we're getting when. The main ATV section is to talking about cloud tech. They're looking at this cloud generation tool. It's basically creating tools to help create clouds and gas clouds much quicker than we currently have now. We can see how they progress from a simple shape to a more traditional cloud look. This is all done really quickly, cutting the dev time down from months to weeks and even days. It adds so much variation and detail which makes them all look unique, basically filling space with a more interesting spacescape rather than just the blackness everywhere. You can see how they set up a spacescape using the derelict caterpillar. It looks a bit bland, so they wanted to add the gas cloud to give it more distinct and visual interest. We can see a range of choices and variations. We saw 3 examples here, and each one felt pretty awesome and different. It does look really good, and that's just 3 options. This is used a lot in Squadron 42, as we saw in the coil, but it's also going to be used a lot in the PU as well, just to bring more interest to locations. Very nice tech, coming with 3.4, I believe, or is it maybe pushed back to 3.5 now? But anyway, that's ATV, guys. Let's move on. So Reverse the Verse this week was talking more about Hurston and Lorville, the landing location. First question being, why are their habs so messy? And they just wanted to add character to the habitation pods. We will have the ability to have messy ones and non-messy ones, and eventually upgrade to fancier habs or even penthouses and apartments. I would expect personally a lot further down the line, each landing location will have a variety of habs, and you can choose from things ranging from dingy to very upmarket and somewhere in between, and different types of buildings. Obviously the cost will reflect the quality. Now the next question is, why is the toothpaste green? I've never noticed this, but one of the props is a green toothpaste. Now they said they didn't really address that situation, but with set dressing, they do it appropriate to the environment, but they do want to ensure that with this new pick up and inspect option, that they are now planning to dress the locations with just items that are interactable. They don't want people to be able to pick up certain things and not other things. It just breaks the immersion if you can pick up like a cup, but you can't pick up a bottle. So they need to ensure that all props are interactable and can be inspected. Next question, will we be able to explore the Hurston Dynamics building, the huge building that's on Lorville? And they say yes, it is a very large interior, so we don't know if we're going to get access to the whole of it initially, but they're trying some new things in look and feel. Plus there will be some shops there as well, and reasons for you to visit that. There's going to be a bit of a contrast between the workers area and this Hurston Dynamics building, which is a bit more upmarket and a bit more cleaner. I would expect to see potentially a mission giver there as well, working for Hurston in some way. We will see. Anyway, next question. What visual cues will there be to help players find their way around the areas like Lorville? Now, they say that this is very important. They're thinking along the lines of a theme park design. They need you to be able to find your way easily. So maybe even when you're in one location, you can see off in the distance a location that you want to get to and kind of instinctively know which way to go. But there will be signs, arrows, and all sorts of ways of helping you navigate. Next question is, how do you think the world will have evolved in 900 years, and do you present that in terms of the game? Now, it's quite important to make sure that they know that, something is advanced, but it needs to be relatable. People need to be able to relate and understand the world. So, for example, if they had a train, which, this is the example they give, which was a space whale with butterflies flapping out of it, and they said, no, that is the train, we wouldn't be able to relate to it. It wouldn't feel immersive. It would feel a bit odd. Currently, especially with Lorville, we're just seeing the utilitarianism style. They don't want it to be too advanced too early. They're showing the old style locations. They get that feeling right for Hurston. And then for other areas which are much more advanced, they have good ideas for this, and we'll see that further down the line. They did say that ArtCore is quite advanced compared to Hurston, and I'm pretty sure Microtech will be as well. So we're just seeing the starting point. Next question, with this modular tile set, do they help or are they more of a hindrance? Now they are trying to make Star Citizen modular, which then can be expanded quickly. Custom pieces for everything would just take far too much time. They need to ensure that there is enough variety of pieces so that they don't start feeling repetitive. They can build out locations very quickly. Currently, a little option in modularity. Things will begin to look repetitive, and they do add a little handcrafting. Currently, they say it's about 70-30, so 70% is modular, 30% is handcrafted. It is essential that they fill up more unique galleries of modular pieces, which over time they will do, and that will create more modular pieces and assets to help them expand the locations much bigger, much quicker, and less repetitive. Next question, with the day-night cycle of Lorville, do you check to ensure it always looks great at any time of day? And they say that the L19, the sort of workers area, barely gets the sun on their face. They want that to feel dark. It needs to feel dingy. But they do want the feeling to change as the day and the night cycle past. If you were to visit at night, then come back in the daytime, it will feel distinctively different. He did say that the player habs will be overlooking the sun setting to create this beautiful vista. I personally cannot wait to explore these cities and locations at all different times of day, feeling it change, or just feeling that sense of it change and maybe getting a little more dangerous. Next question, does weather play into the design of Lorville? Do you think about this while you're designing it? And they say, no, not really. Weather is a much larger conversation. They are looking into weather, but it is not going to be a small undertaking, which is good to hear. I don't want them to just rush it out and make it simple. And then the final question, each Lorville gate has a different feeling, apparently. What does this mean? Apparently that was said, and I think I've still to catch up with these CitizenCon videos. But they say cities don't just end, it becomes something else. And without the city walls, it would be way too complicated and very difficult to navigate. Lorville is the first step for cities. There's lots more that they want to try for the future. So ultimately, they didn't really answer the question. But yeah, it sounds like they tried it without walls and gates. It didn't work, so they've walled it off. But you can actually see off in the distance of Lorville that there are little areas that you can explore further. I'm sure they'll expand it as time goes on. Anyway, that was Reverse the Verse, guys. Let's move on. Also this week, we had a new Far From Home lore post titled Best Laid Plans. So that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and share the video with all your friends. If you like what I do and want to help me make it better, follow the link below to my Patreon page to learn more.